John Paul II was elected in 1978, and his first travel his first pastoral travel was to Mexico. In 1979, we were ruled by a single party for 71 years without losing an election. So when John Paul II arrived, he arrived to a country who was totally controlled by a single political party, and this party was responsible of many moments of repression against the Catholic Church in Mexico. For instance, in the 20s, there was a so-called Cristeros movement, which was a movement in favor of religious freedom, and was totally destroyed by the government. And well, in 1979, when John Paul II arrived to Mexico, the first thing we discover as Mexicans is that he could walk with his cassock, with his clerical dress, in the streets. This sign was very powerful because in Mexico it was totally prohibited to see a priest dressed as a priest walking freely in the streets. So his very presence was a sign of a new moment in the history of our country. Then his speeches were very, very important because he was there in order to make the opening of the so-called Third General Assembly of the Catholic bishops in Latin America. And this General Assembly was made in the city of Puebla, had the presence of the Holy Father, and John Paul II gave a very important lecture there, based in three things: the truth about man, the truth about Christ, and the truth about the Church. And he explained in a very clear way that if we want to recover the Church and if we want to renew our personal lives, we have to meet Christ. The source of a true renewal in the Church and the source of a true renewal in our personal lives is not based only in our strength, but mainly in the moment of encountering Christ. So, and of course there were also some other important speeches. Some of them were devoted to religious freedom, and I would say Mexico changed his history from this very moment because of the person and the words of John Paul II. Here we have a group of students from many countries, from France, from the States, from Poland, and some other places, and they are, I would say, discovering this powerful philosophical method that help us to back to things in themselves and to back to the person. It means that this particular method help us to recover with new language and with a fresh attitude the classical realism, but in the contemporary context. Wojtyły was very aware about the contemporary controversies in the field of philosophy, and he discovered little by little a philosophical method in order to be faithful to the truth and in order to avoid a mere repetition of a catechism of philosophical orthodoxy.